Good morning and welcome back to Money Talks, the place where money meets politics. I'm Mike Lomas, filling in for Nikki Boxler. On today's show, we will be talking with Abby Gwynn. But first, let's talk about some local issues with Tea Party leader Russ Thompson. Now, Russ, you were on a few weeks ago, Carl Palladino, and I started off, I asked Carl a few questions, and the half an hour went like that.
Oh, yeah, guys, it goes that quick.
Yeah. Carl's great.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have you back on so we could have a little bit of time to talk. I wanted to start off, Niagara Falls Reporter read over the weekend that Cuomo's incompetence has led to a new contract with the casinos up there, but they forgot to leave the part out where Niagara Falls gets paid.
Right. Well,
could that be?
Yeah.
I'm reading this. I mean, you put together a contract, extended it for 10 years, but you left out the part where we get money?
So now they're up there completely tax-free with no competition because of it.
Unbelievable.
You know, and the key thing was we knew it was coming. The contract's 14 years old, all right, and it said right in the contract that their funding that required from the state was gone after 14 years.
Yeah.
So they sat on their hands and did nothing.
Yeah.
And then the Indians came right out, Native Americans came right out and said that, you know, that's it, we're done. And now all of a sudden they caught them. It's like, what do you mean we're done? We need that money. We need that money for economic development. Yeah. And so they're stuck between a rock and a hard spot now. But the problem's always been, too, is that the money didn't go directly to Niagara Falls. It went to the state.
Yeah.
So you had Mayor Deister up there basically begging the state for this money because it was supposed to go to them for economic
Doesn't it seem like that's the way it always works?
Oh, yeah.
It always works that way, right? It gets sucked out to Albany, and then we've got to beg, please give me it back. Please give me my money back. Yeah. You know, my understanding was it was something like $90 million that had been received in but spent before it actually came in.
They
like the receipts, the IOUs were there, right? Like $89 million gone already. Nobody knows where the money is. Yeah. What a joke.
So this is going to hurt Niagara Falls, and of course now they're hanging around. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know, when you're expecting $21 million that's supposed to go to your economic development, and you're not going to get it now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Is it going to hit the taxpayers again? Like we don't pay enough in property taxes to begin with?
Right.
You know, and it's just the game that's played between Albany and your local communities.
Yeah.
There again, you got the same thing with the signs. This is something that's big.
Yeah.
Cuomo got into trouble. Well, it didn't go anywhere, but he got into trouble because he's putting up all these signs on the New York State Thruway, which is basically promoting tourism. Go to here, go to there. Well,
the welcome to New York, we're going to take money out of your pocket signs?
Yeah. Okay, get off this exit and go to this state park.
Okay.
Well, the whole idea behind that is to get the tourist to go directly to the state parks, stay in the state parks, and not go into the outlying communities, spend money, stay in hotels. That's why they want to build a hotel on Goat Island. New York State Park.
Nice.
Cuomo wants to put a hotel in there.
So it just gets ripped out of the local economy and just floats right to Albany.
And it goes directly to the state.
You know what's aggravating too is that, of course, you know the few conservatives that are left in this state, they need to beg for their money back. Even with some of the projects, I've seen that happen where some of the developers are asking for money back, and of course then the liberals go, well, see, he needs government assistance too, and like, well, wait a minute, you've ripped out. You know, you take all my money, you take half my money, and then we ask for a little of it back, and we're the bad guys.
Yeah, and it's just like just on Saturday you had the ECIDA on your radio show, and you heard their discussions on it. And I think everybody should listen to that show. It's very educational.
Thanks for the free plug.
Oh yeah, well, I host every once in a while.
News Radio 930 WBEN.
Yeah, so. When you've got these big projects going on, the only way that the projects are actually affordable to do because our taxes are so high, they give them tax breaks.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't give the people, the developers, money. All right, it's long-term tax breaks. You get a tax break for 10 years.
So you have to be a solar power company with no track record of making money to actually get money up front.
Yeah. Well, have we seen any jobs from that?
Not a one yet. Not a one yet.
Is the building still empty, Solar City?
My understanding is it is, yep. And now they're not even making the batteries there anymore. Now they're going to outsource them and just bring them in. It'll be a fantastic warehouse.
Yeah, put a roof on your house for $50-something thousand.
Absolutely, total joke. I know we're coming up against the break here. I definitely want to talk about the tolls. You made your name you years ago by fighting the Grand Island tolls. You wanted them removed. You finally accomplished accomplished that with one of the toll booths, you and Carl.
Carl Palladino got the tolls in the Black Rock and basically the 190 in Buffalo got them down.
Yeah.
He found a law that they had been violating for 10 years.
Yeah, so after the break, I want to talk more about that. I know Andrew Cuomo's talking now about making it easier to rip money out of our pockets. I love that. These liberals never, ever, ever think about returning our own money or giving us money back or making it cheaper to do business. They actually talk about more efficient ways to rip it out of your pocket easier.
And people fall for it.
So let's talk more about that after the break. I've got Russ Thompson in, head of the local Tea Party here. Stay with us on Money Talks. We'll be back, WGRZ. Welcome back to Money Talks. I'm Mike Lomas. Before that, though, Russ Thompson. Russ, again, thanks for spending some time with me here. Russ, I call you head of the local Tea Party. Is that okay? I don't know.
That's fine.
You've been called worse, right? I know people have called you worse.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. That's all right.
You made a name for yourself years ago fighting to remove the tolls at the Grand Island Bridge. Right.
Yep.
And, now I was reading an article over the week. I guess Chris Jacobs also wants those tolls now gone. It was maybe a month or so ago I saw an article that he wants them gone. But it's funny because I just want to talk about tolls, the roads, and I read another article that said 28% of the roads in New York State are considered poor.
Oh, yeah.
And poor meaning like A, I'm a really great student, D, I'm not so hot,
right.
D. Yep. So more than a quarter of the roads in New York State are poor, yet we have record tolls. And what's frustrating to me is I now hear Andrew Cuomo talking about trying to figure out more efficient ways to get the money out of our pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, that's just so frustrating. Even the Easy Pass. I had a friend years ago say, well, it's so nice to have Easy Pass. I'm like, well, think about that. Easy Pass is actually just taking the money and ripping it right out of your pocket faster.
Exactly.
How about this?
Handing a buck to them.
I got a great idea. How about we get rid of the tolls altogether? Because they're not fixing our roads with the toll money.
No, absolutely not. And that, just in what you just said there opens up a complete can of worms. We get down to the point with the tolling on the New York State Thruway. Years ago, during the years of Daniel Patrick Moynihan, the tolls were supposed to come down in order to be able to get federal funding to take care of the over 500 lane miles of the New York State Thruway. Mm-hmm. Well, somehow Moynihan was able to finagle the fact that they could get both. They could get DOT funding for the federal government, which is 18 cents on every gallon of gas you buy, and still collect tolls. All right? So there's double right there. And that's why what I was saying about the signs, well, the feds actually do control that section of roads. Mm-hmm. So the argument really needs to be the federal government needs to talk to the New York State government and try to decide, okay, who controls these roads? If the feds do, then get rid of the tolls. All right? But the easy way to take money out of your pocket is to go to the cashless toll system, which is all fine and dandy if it's legal to keep the tolls, okay? The biggest problem we got on the Grand Island bridges is about $14 million a year goes into the general fund in Albany. Every time they go to do something on the Grand Island tolls, they have to borrow money. Right. Why are you borrowing money with all these tolls?
Think about that. Think about that bridge, right? They go over it. It's like $1. I'm thinking, is this thing made out of gold? Like, where does the cash go? It should be.
It should be.
Should be.
So every time they go to do something, it's another excuse to keep the tolls. Sure. Well, the tolls were supposed to be taken down when the bridges were paid for.
Yeah.
Well, they've been up for 82 years now.
Right.
Every single time they get to that point, then they find another excuse to keep the tolls. Well, the tolls should have been removed years and years and years ago. So now the traffic backup on a daily basis, especially during the summer, 2, 3, 4 miles long. Traffic sits on the 290.
Yeah.
Now they come up with a brilliant idea. Let's go to cashless tolls, okay? Yeah. High-speed cashless tolls. So you had Senator Chris Jacobs, Assemblyman Angelo Morinello, the new supervisor of Grand Island, which is Nathan McMurray, and Congressman Brian Higgins, okay? I approached Congressman Brian Higgins years ago about helping with the tolls, and he refused to help because we had Louise Slaughter at the time, and he didn't want to, but she completely ignored all of our pleas. So now they have a press conference the other day calling for cashless tolls. I'd like to see how that would work on the South bridges.
Yeah, well, here's how they're going to police it.
High-speed tolls going in, 6 lanes going into 2.
Yeah. Well, here's how they're going to police it. If you have 3 outstanding tickets, an alarm is going to go off at the bridge, and they're going to set up police officers to go get you.
That's insane.
It's insane. You telling me the police officers have nothing better to do than sit at a bridge?
Well, I just saw a fact, too. The New York State Police are writing tickets in record amounts now because The state needs the money. It's just crazy.
There's the catch, right?
Exactly.
Hey, you pay your toll, then pay your ticket on the way out. Russ, I wish we had more time. I'm going to get you back on in the future.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
Appreciate
Just
it,
get
buddy.
a hold of me.
All right, Money Talks. We'll be back.